Welcome everybody and happy Friday Fun Day. My name is Rob Appell. I am a quilt maker from Stitchin Heaven in Quitman, Texas, right here on YouTube. And it is so wonderful to see all of my longtime friends out there. If you're a new viewer today, welcome. If you haven't subscribed, well, if you're a new viewer, you wouldn't have subscribed yet, but consider it. It's a great show. We're doing a live sewing and announcement style show we do every Friday where we're going to be working on our Scrap Masters random scrap blocks. We've got 19 on the wall. In just a moment, I will start sewing one live here on camera for all of you. It's going to be super fun, but we have to generate that block. And as we get warmed up today for the show, like I said, wanted to welcome everybody. It's been an incredibly exciting couple of weeks for me. We're enjoying a new format here on YouTube. So it's kind of a live, but it's really more premiere setup so that you can be commenting along and I can be commenting along. And it really allows me to kind of cut out a little bit of the full-time sewing because it usually takes me about 30 to 40 minutes to put together the block. I want to make sure that I try to keep the show to about 30 minutes with all of our announcements and our videos, and there's a lot to share this week. I'll get back to Kevin, the new quilt, in a few minutes, but let's get our random quilt block generator generated for week number 20. That's right, this is Scrap Masters. If you don't already have the free pattern, it's a download right in the description. There is a link there for you. Please note there is only one rule, and that is there are no rules. We're working through our scraps here, folks. We're generating up and busting through all of our extra scraps. Of course, I got going pretty quickly and stitched through all my scraps early on, and so now I'm mostly using what we're calling the Boneyard bundles. This is the first of Rob's Rainbow if you want to sew along with what I'm using. Now you can see it's integrating fantastic into most of my tonals and my solids on the wall. And we're going to need our 2 die and our color wheel today as we get ready to do this. So here we go. First, we're going to roll to figure out which block of the 6 we get to use if it's your first time seeing. Okay, here we go, Scrap Masters. This is it, the official week 20 roll. Block number 6. What are we looking at, folks? Block number 6. We don't do this one very often. It's a good one. I like block 6, folks. This is going to be great. Okay, now let's figure out what color we've got for today. Spinning the color wheel of randomness. And all right, in a red-orange family, I'm keeping it. Red-orange family. How many fabrics are we going to get to use today, folks? This is the big fun. Big number, no whammies. We are looking for the biggest numbers possible because that's what makes it super fun and easy and awesome to sew along here. So, okay, here we go. Big number, 13. Awesome, we're using it. So that means now of the red-orange fabric family and or coordinates or complementaries or monochromes, I'm gonna go ahead and pull 13 different fabrics to stitch with. So let's see, we're gonna set those aside. Now, obviously, of the red oranges, I really like these. So I'm gonna pull out, this is fabric 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to get a little deeper into the red orange. I've got this here. It's just 1 square, but that'll count as my 5. And then I think I'm going to bounce across my color wheel. See, that's real nice. I'm going to start to work in these blue-green families as well. So I can kind of maybe build this section out as the blue-green portion. So if that's technically 5 now when I get 13, so I've got 8 more to go. So these are going to be really pretty against there. There's 6. We'll go 7. Let's bring in this lime. Oh yeah, here we go. Bring that back in here too. 4, 8, 10. Cheater, pumpkin eater. So I'm up to 12. And I think yep. I think I'm going to use that to set it off just to be Henri. That's going to be fun. And that's going to go in my center. So now what I do is I choose quickly which pieces are going to be where so I can kind of color code. So for today, I'm going to use the red-orange family for the perimeter and the center. and then I'm going to let these star portions form from the blues as they go together. I think that's going to be really fun today. So that really means that I've decided I want to use 4 of these for my centerpiece. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then as I go around the outer ones, I'm just going to use a random. Now these ones work out as pretty good squares. So I technically need like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of those random squares, but of kind of this color. So here we're just going to choose. Let's get another one of that. So that's 3, 7, 10. Let's take 2 of those, 2 of those. Okay, so now that's my outer wall perimeter. Okay, that's pretty easy. Now I need to make some half square triangles. So with my half square triangles, I want to mix these again. So let's just go ahead and we're going to pull one of these, and one of these to mix. These will be half square triangles. I want that for a solid. I'll use that. Boom. Those all get cut into squares. Let's cut you into a square. So now some more half square triangles going around using just the blues though. So now I'm going to want technically 8 more half square triangles featuring blue combinations. So this is going to be fun now. Bring in, that's 2, 4, 6, and 8. Sometimes those get stuck together. I got to be careful. Okay, so now these are all half square triangles to be made. These are all squares to be cut down. I think I've got what I need. So with that being said, let me go ahead and start running the announcements video while I put these parts and pieces together, and I'll be back to show you what I've really come up with. Okay, Rob, the announcements guy, take it away. And that's right. I won't make you wait much longer as we dive right into our announcements for today. Really excited. Rob's going to be working on that Scrap Masters week number 20 block. And like he was saying before, please don't forget to sign up for the So Well Facebook group, So Well with Rob Appell. Now, there are 3 questions you'll need to answer to get through the gatekeeping, but that's the best place where you can go ahead and join the fun on the weekly basis, see what everybody's working on within the Scrap Masters, get more information, more current, more premier information with what's going on right here on our wonderful YouTube channel and having all kinds of fun, like I said, with the Scrap Masters. Now, I started to flash at them a few moments ago, this wonderful quilt. I'm super excited. Kevin the Hummingbird, which is an applique and patchwork project. I've been working on it the last few weeks, and I'm really happy to announce the pattern is just now back from the tester. So no, the patterns are not completely packaged and ready to ship out yet. However, if you would like to make sure that you get one of the very first, oh my gosh. Oh, it's been a long week, folks. If you want to make sure you get one of the very first, am I still holding it right? There we go. Of the Kevin the Hummingbird patterns, this now features the newer worlds fabrics that I've designed, the Superior Solids and the Shadow Blush from Benartex. And again, as I was starting to say, if you'd like to get the applique patchwork pattern from me, simply send me an email, and that is rob@stitchinheaven.com, and I can put you on the waiting list. So as soon as the patterns are available in the next week or two, and or if we're going to go ahead and make kits available, we can let all of you know that. It's been a really exciting project. Super pumped up about it, and I've started talking about it a little bit. Want to make sure you have early access to that. I was mentioning a moment ago that Facebook page, and I do every few weeks put up a running list for the Scrap Masters as we're sewing through. Now, folks, the Scrap Masters.
Oh, and with a fresh pile, we're getting ready for this. And here we have the 19 blocks on the wall and color coded kind of to make a quilt project. And it's going to be awesome. I don't know what's going to fall into that space, if that's what's going to do it or not. But today we're making number 20. This is really exciting.
And it is really exciting, and you can see this by what's on the wall going on. So, okay, if you're brand new to Scrap Masters, I created or was inspired to create kind of a reason to sew or something to sew on a little bit each week, because sometimes I get stuck and I don't know what to create, even though it's a creative process that helps me process a lot of the other things that are going on in the world or in my little world that sometimes stress me out. So at any rate, I wanted something that was just fun and easy, no decisions to be made. So we started rolling and spinning to create these blocks. Now I already know 24 blocks is where I'm going to need to go to finish this out. There is a free pattern in the download below in the link in the description. We are making fantastic bundles. These are the Boneyard bundles you hear me talk about. They come in the Rob's Rainbow. They also come in Tiffany's Tropicals. But folks, I really want you to know you don't need to start or finish at any certain pace. We're just all having fun sewing along. So when I put up things like the chart, you're not required to start from number one, but some folks want to get caught up and sew along with us as we're going. So anyways, I'll be posting a new chart in a few days on the Facebook page. If that's of interest, please make sure you grab that over there. Now, I have a retreat coming up real soon. There are just a few spaces left, August 6th through 10th, out in Quitman, Texas. We'll be working on the glowing checkered star, and it's going to be incredible. Now, if you saw last week's fun video,
I've been recording, but I've been sitting at home, so.
Oh, so you're already ahead of schedule?
No, I'm not ahead of schedule. I've just been doing it behind your back.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
But you guys know I'm gonna make it big because I like big quilts, and I cannot lie.
yeah, you know I love my dear friend Mark, the Quilting Marine, and he and I were blessed to be teaching in Shipshewana, Indiana a few weeks ago. And the video I put up on Wednesday is a really funny, and make sure you call Mark the Cupcake King from now on, because that guy likes to eat his cupcakes, I'll tell you what. So anyways, we had a blast teaching together, and I'd encourage you to watch that video. We do all kinds of awesome sewcations, and we have one coming up in Lancaster, and literally I think that starts probably the day day after we're watching this, but it is coming up right around the corner. And if you missed out on that one, folks, we have Minneapolis coming up. In Minneapolis, we'll have Nancy Mahoney and Chris Hoover. That'll be August 10th through 15th, 2025. And it's just a fantastic way to get together without being on a cruise and fellowship and quilt and go on adventures and all kinds of things. We also offer bus trips, folks. You can check out Stitchin Heaven's website. There are all kinds of fantastic bus trips coming up constantly, and that's a place where we'll go ahead and bring you from your destination to us at Stitchin Heaven. We'll give you lunch, we'll play some games, we'll give you a discount, tour around the shop, and have all kinds of great experiences. While you're there, we'll check out the block of the month. And of course, if you don't come to the shop, we encourage you to check out the stitchinheaven.com and check out all of the incredible different block of the months that we are doing. Right now, I am personally sewing on the wonderful Dog Park by McKenna Ryan. It's a fused applique, and it's all pre-fused and pre-laser cut. Oh, it's incredible, and I'm having so much fun with that. There's several, like I said, to choose from coming up constantly, so make sure you don't miss out. And also, folks, speaking of not missing out, I know a lot of you have really helped us build our business at Stitchin Heaven over the last 20 plus years by being part of our travel tribe. Now, our travel tribe started way back when on a cruise ship where Deb and her son Clay wanted to just take folks on an adventure with their sewing machines. And ever since then, we've really strived to be one of the premier places where you can do a quilting cruise. Now, if you haven't been following what's going on at Royal Caribbean, folks, they have the new Icon class cruises, and these quilt ships are amazing. I didn't even mean to do that. I said quilt ship. I meant to say cruise ship, but these cruises are incredible. So we have coming up for the maiden voyages, really exciting. We're going to do the Icon Quilting Quest. That's January 17th through 24th with Michael Davidson and Tiffany Hayes. We also have the quilting cruise, the Odyssey quilting cruise, which are on an I-class quilting, oh my gosh, Icon cruise ship. That's January 24th through 31st. I think maybe they should take the announcements away from me. Maybe I should just go back to sewing. What do you think? I should maybe get rid of the announcements video or something. I don't know. I'm just butchering it today. Anyway, it's our last opportunity this year for you to join us on an Icon ship. Would be with Raya Saloma and Joe Caraway, and we're going to have a great time sewing with them on the Quilting Jamboree Cruise, January 31st through February 7th, folks. And if you haven't ever been on one of the Royal Caribbean cruises, they're incredible. Now, what we do is we take over the conference room, so not only do you have access to all the fantastic dining and the shows and the shopping and the excursions, but we have a 24/7 conference room where you can sit and sew, working on one of your provided kits with the instructors, one that's class time, or just sewing on your own free time. And this is incredible. So what makes an Icon class ship so amazing are all of the amenities. So it's like being in a 5-star quilting retreat resort. Now, of course, we're always playing with some new ideas and fun things to make those extra special cruises even more special for you. So stay tuned. I might have a couple of announcements, some ideas I'm hoping I can get on board with the whole team. I think it'll be really cool. But anyways, check out those Icon class quilting cruises. Those are amazing. They are for the elite. Now, and I know, folks, it is a little bit more expensive because it is such an incredible experience. We also, of course, have our standard quilt cruises. Again, these aren't maybe for everybody, but that's all right. We have all kinds of different ones, and just check them out on the Stitchin Heaven website. Now, one of the things I love to do, folks, is my grateful list. It's just a way of remembering all of the things I am grateful for each week. I bet if you've been following along for a long time, you can guarantee you can guess what this week's grateful list is going to be action-packed with. And of course, that's a lot from the wedding that happened. My son got married on Saturday. And what was the best thing is I saw on Monday morning a post from Catherine, my new daughter, that said, I married my best friend yesterday with the greatest people around, or something like that. And it was just so touching. But to know that those two truly are best friends. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get into the grateful list. Here we go, folks. With no further ado, the grateful list for this week, I am grateful for the opportunity for hard work. That's right. So my parents have 30 acres and a lot of it's covered in vineyard, and they have been killing themselves for a year to get this property ready. But at the last minute, we showed up on Wednesday and I donned my newest gear, multiple safety suits there, and went out and did a ton of weed whacking. You actually can't see the weed whacking, but you also don't see the weeds anymore, which is pretty cool. And after I finished that, I just thought I would speed stack a entire cord of firewood. The smile is, it's just, look, I'm just gonna leave that. I get more and more tired the longer you look at that picture, of course, but we had a blast. Now, family, as we were getting ready for the weekend, family, and of course, my beautiful wife there pictured behind me. This is at the rehearsal when we're sitting out in the beautiful sun. There's Undente, our dog, the Chihuahua with one tooth. And of course, he was at the wedding in full effect. We got to see lots of folks. One of my favorites, and maybe some of you remember my cousin Amber, who used to work with me at the Cotton Ball, and her husband Matt, a fantastic musician. They moved out to Amarillo, Texas a few years back, almost, I think they said 15 or 17 or something crazy like that. So I don't get to see them nearly often enough, but for all y'all out there in Texas, you're welcome for me sharing my awesome cousins with you. They're incredible. And Amber and Matt, I love you. Thanks for spending some time, guys. That was great. And okay, so on the grateful list here, we were also talking about some of that family. Oh yeah, here, let me go through and give you a little bit more of the families for the wedding, of course, but nothing makes a nice looking gentleman even better looking than his lovely, lovely wife. Uh-oh, there she is. Let me turn off this so you can see it all. And this is us. You can see in the background a little bit of the decor and the barn portion of the wedding. But right now we are still, folks, on Texas time. That's right. We're going to save the wedding for last on the Grateful with the new daughter. But Texas time, that's right. In just a few days now, I'm jumping on a plane and heading back to Texas. The red wine and blue retreat is going on, so I'll get to see some of my longtime friends that are out there and meet some new ones. I'm really excited to be working on some new video concepts and content. Elijah's been writing some really cool new things we're going to be working on, and it's always fun to get out there. I missed last month because I was on the road so much, so it's going to be cool to be back there. Of course, it won't be too cool July in Texas, right? But like I said, I'm looking forward to being back and seeing all of my friends. And I really enjoy getting away. And the reason I put Texas time and the reason I'm grateful for it this week more specifically is we've been very, very busy getting ready for all the excitement that's going on. Plus, my wife is a school teacher, which means she's taken on a new classroom and she's remodeling. So Texas time for me means I get to get laser focused on just the video work. I stay at the cottages there at Stitchin Heaven, and I really don't do anything other than a little bit of skateboarding and super focused. So I'm super excited about that, and that's going to be terrific. Now, on to the new daughter, of course. Yes, like I was just mentioning over and over again, Braden, our son, got married to his best friend, Catherine, and we had a fantastic time. A couple highlights. I promised to put together a better wedding reel. This was just neat. They had this cool wedding mirror out there. One of my jobs was to put quilts in the wedding wagon.
All right, using a bunch of the quilts in our wedding wagons. These will be our transportation.
These were used to haul the folks over to the vineyard, as you can see.
Oh, here comes our first guest! Hey!
This is pretty exciting. Here comes one of the wedding wagons in now. And so we would move them from the reception area over here.
What's up? They're sitting on them.
Area. And
they didn't work that way.
We realized it was great. So I didn't talk to myself there. But it was really fun because it was all the guests, which was super, super fun. Now,
oh, there's Eddie and Dee are already here.
So, played a full set. We locked. I think you better come. Of course, we were and you can see there's Ruby, as you remember. Oh, what an incredible time. Here's a fun photo I got the night before the wedding. We just got the big tent up out inside of the barn. The barn's where the dance was going on just a moment ago. But I really enjoy playing with nighttime photography, and it was really a special, incredible few days all together. Here's about the best shot I could grab real quick of them dancing together on their first dance. And again, so excited to welcome Catherine into our crazy family. Catherine, you knew what you were signing up for, and I know you love us anyways. So anyways, welcome to the family, Catherine. This is exciting, exciting, folks. Now, let's go ahead and review everyone's show and tell for the Scrap Masters. Rob should be almost done with his block for this week, and this has been another fun one. Oops, before we can dive into that, there was one more thing I wanted to share from the wedding, which is the fact that we were working on trying to press the flowers.
So yeah, we were trying to dry out some flowers, and there's a microwave expedient way of doing it, but that was just going to take way too many hours. So I built myself, remember the old doors from the cabinet remodel, built myself a flower press with cardboard, and there's a bunch of flowers in there. We'll see those in a few weeks.
So yes, one more fantastic use of an unused long arm machine. Build a flower press and set it on there in a nice, cool, dry place. I'm sorry, folks. It's terrible. I do use the long arm, and especially soon once I finish up my Scrapmaster block. So week 19, there it was. This is what we created last week on camera for you all, and had a lot of fun. I don't think I got all 20 fabrics in mine either. And as I run through the show and tell pretty quick, folks, really awesome. Congratulations to our very first scrap lattice assembly. That looks pretty terrific if you ask me. This is a free pattern download from the Scrap Masters. Last week, I grabbed a few pictures of everybody working on their blue-green blocks, having a great time putting them together. I always enjoy watching photos and people's organizational process. Usually we go through. This one's got a fun antique feel to it. This one feels like it came directly from a boneyard bundle. And then check out the really cool fussy cutting going on in the center of this one. and also the center of this one. And this really is exciting because this is now a step away from the block itself in the middle. And that's exactly what I was hoping we could all start doing. I've been saving a little blue Ohio Star or something that's really small that I had made years ago as an example for a video. And I'm going to be putting that in one of my stars real soon, or one of my centers. So it's really fun to watch all of you being so super creative with your color choices, with your positions, with all of the different fabrics you're using, and now watching you spice it up with some really creative fabric choices and placement. That makes me so happy, folks. Thank you so much for participating along. Please, like I said, make sure you're posting your photos on the Facebook web page or the Facebook group. So well, Rob Appell. That's really where we're doing everything with Scrap Masters and having a blast. Speaking of that, let's see how the real Rob is doing with his actual Scrap Master block for the week. So here we go, Rob. How you doing there?
Okay, well, welcome back here. Let me talk about what I'm doing a little bit more in case you're brand new to quilting. I started with all my squares as a 3-inch weeks ago. I cut them all down into 3-inch squares because those will yield two perfect 2.5-inch half square triangles. Or as you see me right now, I'm just going to trim them down. Remember, these are scraps or purchased for this project and with this intention. So this little bit I'm trimming off right now just makes it so much easier for me when I'm stitching along. And we will be doing a virtual sew along day in the future where we're going to do multiple blocks throughout the day as just kind of a fun sew and scramble. So you'll want to have your parts trimmed down like that. I think it's working the best. Now, where I'm at on our design, block number 6, it's getting a little wore out, but I love this block and it's actually quite quick and easy. So where we left off, I decided I was going to use these cool tulas in the center. So let's just start building it now. As you can see with all of these now 2.5-inch squares. So that's that middle that I was looking at before. Now I know that my blue squares are going to fall in opposites. So we're just going to drop these in now kind of first just to give me a little bit of a good color layout as I start to build. Okay, that looks good. And then with the half square triangles that are the blue greens, those go around there. And I really want them to glow out. So I think I'm going to do something like this. Maybe. There we go. Let's rotate that. Because of the solids. That's why I did that. Okay, now this will show as a lovely little bright star. Just playing with my prints. Just being sensitive about my prints. Which is good. This is fun. This is what we do it for. Okay, so there's now the center build out. We'll have more of these pieces coming through to form out. So I'm going to go ahead and shape this in now with a blue touching. Oops, a blue touching there. Now I'll just go ahead and add in my pieces and try not to make any of the same color combos kind of touch. I do need to cut one more blue for out there.
Okay, that block's forming up pretty neat. Okay, and I'll just grab, let's see, which one of the blues did I use that I can use again? We'll just go ahead and use the solid blue because that's what I've got left out of the stash. And that's what makes it a fun Scrap Master scrap quilt, because you're not quite sure what you're going to get left with or end up with. And sometimes, even though I work so hard to try not to have those solids, I'm still going to end up with that there. Okay, so now what I've learned after 20 weeks of sewing these together, there's a couple of easy approaches. One is grab them out and sew them into 4 patches and then sew the 4 patches back in. Or I've also recently started just sewing these in rows. So I want to lock in my 1/4 inch seam allowance and get these set up. And in this case, if I'm going to sew across them in rows, I'm just going to start by grabbing my second one, sewing it on top of the first, and I'm going to work across the row before I before I press any of them. And then I'll press the rows in opposite directions in order to achieve a bit of a nested seam. And that'll be nice. This is not a very bulk based block. There's a lot of straight edges versus a lot of those diagonals. All right, folks, and look at that. Off of the machine it comes. Let's do a quick press. And again, I absolutely love this block number 6. I shouldn't probably pick favorites, but this is a fun one because it's kind of unique and it does have a lot more of the straight edges than the diagonals. So it's a little quicker to construct. And I think it's going to go real nice, helping bring some of my blues and oranges back together. 4 more weeks, I've decided, folks. My quilt is all but set up. 4 more weeks of Scrap Masters, I will have 24 blocks, and that's going to make an amazing 6 block by 4 block quilt. And technically they're 12.5, so it should also make it a 6 foot by 4 foot quilt, which would be perfect for me to keep in my vehicle or something like that. Of course, I'll be teaching classes on this, so you know it'll be one of those projects that travels with me from place to place. So anyways, folks, thank you so much for joining me today on this Friday, actually Independence Day in the United States. Happy 4th of July. If you're a pet owner, please take care of your pet. If you're a pyrotechnician, please go blow something up safely. Make sure you do enjoy some sewing over the weekend. Have a blessed and incredible time. We've got another, like I said in the announcements, great tutorial coming up next week. So thank you for being here. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the button to be notified. Share the videos with your friends. We really appreciate the way that you're helping the channel grow so quickly. Post your photos in the Scrap Masters or of the Scrap Masters blocks on that Sew Well Facebook page. And until I see you next time, friends, thank you for being here. Stay blessed and stay well.